A crucial top four showdown will take place at the London Stadium on Sunday afternoon when West Ham hosts Leicester City. The away team have been victorious in 4 of the last top flight meetings between West Ham and Leicester, although the visiting side have not won both league encounters in the same season since the 29 and 30 campaign. Matt, Leicester City, mate, this season is wide open. The top 4 chase is wide open. The results today have all gone a bit mental. You know, they've not potentially gone on the West Ham side, but hey ho, it's all in our hands. Matt, Leicester City, what are you thinking?
It's weird. I don't want to say it, but they're the team that we should be aiming to be. Like they're the model of what you want. You know, they put a lot of money into a state-of-the-art training ground. They spend big money, but they spend it wisely. They bring in kids. They're building themselves into like a consistent top 4 team.
Yeah,
it's, you know, they've got like the plan that we should be following if we want to build on this season.
Yeah,
and you know, it's the top third. They're third in the league.
Yep,
I think.
But from them, from Leicester down to, I was just talking to, we'll talk about that in a minute, but from Leicester a bit further down to maybe the I think 7th place is so tight, mate. It's so tight. It's just wide open. It's completely wide open.
It is. It's, you know, it's. I saw like meltdowns on Twitter already today because like Chelsea and Liverpool won. You know, the problem is it's the same when you're in a relegation battle as it is at the top. You can't. Yes, you're hoping other teams do you favours, but
yeah,
if you want to be consistent, if you want to be up there, you've got to be up there because you're winning every game. So you shouldn't be looking or trying to bank on other teams messing up. You've got to be thinking, no, we'll just go out there and do our thing, and then don't worry about them. And then if they lose, it's an extra bonus.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, Matt. Enough talk from us regarding the opposition. It's time to talk Leicester City. Like to welcome Jack from Leicester Fan TV. Jack, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, evening, lads. Hope you're both well. It's going to be a very tasty game for the race for the top 4.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. I was just saying to you before we came on, I was like, you know, obviously West Ham got through the Wolves game, and then the next minute you're looking at the Leicester game thinking, if we can walk away with a victory, we're within 1 point of you. And I would never in my wildest dreams have thought with 8 games to go or after the game tomorrow, 7 games to go, West Ham would be within a point of Leicester City. If we walk away victorious, of course, we have to go to the game and get the result that we need first and foremost. Yes, it's a bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very mad season, not just for Leicester, but for West Ham as well. Obviously, the expectations of West Ham at the start of the season wouldn't have realistically been top 4. But West Ham have shown they're very dark horses this season. They've played very good football under David Moyes. They brought Lingard in. He's been fantastic on loan so far. He's made a transition, shall I put it, from coming from Manchester United after not playing for so long. Souček's made a difference. Declan Rice has stood up this season. Cresswell's been great, and Antonio's just been a nightmare for defenders. From a Leicester perspective, every game in the Premier League is a very difficult game. So this one being no different.
Yeah, of course, mate. Of course. Well, listen, I mean, Brendan Rodgers, you're sitting 3rd in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, Brendan Rodgers is a good manager, of course. Hi, Jamie. It's Jamie, isn't it, from the Fox's Arms? Hope you're well, mate. Thank you for tuning in. So Brendan Rodgers, of course, is in charge of Leicester City. What's been going on this season? What style of play have you been playing? You know, I think I've been looking at some of the stats. I think, is it currently Leicester City are the only team, I just had that there, who have yet to lose a Premier League match at the London Stadium. so far?
Yeah, let's not jinx it.
Let's jinx it. Yeah, talk to me about Brendan Rodgers, mate, in this season.
Brendan Rodgers, when he came in, he wanted to galvanise Leicester and make the vision what Vishai had, a top 6 football team, and he's definitely done that. He had a lot to do when he came in, obviously after Claude Puel's era at Leicester, which didn't really end great. But he's picked the team up. He's made them believe in their own abilities. He's brought in players like James Justin, Castagna, Fofana, and players like that. And he's galvanised the team. He's made Harvey Barnes look superb this season, and James Maddison and Vardy. And he's just picked the team up. And I think after last season's 8 games where we narrowly missed out on the Champions League football and ended up in the Europa League, I think he said to the boys, hold on a minute, boys, let's go again next season, dust yourselves down. And we look more hungry this season, and we actually want to finish what we started, what we missed out on. So it's unfinished business for us this season. Hopefully we take care of it.
Yeah. What do you think of Leicester this season then, Matt? I mean, we all know about the quality they've got and more recently of the form that Iheanacho's picked up on recently.
Like you said, I mean, they were unlucky last year. You know, I don't know, Project Restart just come at a really bad time for them, and everyone was thinking they were banked on for top 4, and it somehow slipped out of their hands. And like Jack said, it's like this year that Brendan Rodgers has gone, no, but we're not letting it slip this year. And every time they seem to have lost a player, a bit like Moyes this year, you know, Brendan Rodgers has just found someone else to go straight back in, and it's like the machine's not stopped going. You know, you said Varley's banged in the goals for Leicester for a long time, and Iheanacho's really had a stop-start sort of stuttering career at Leicester, but then all of a sudden Vardy dropped out, Iheanacho come in, and it's just clicked. He started banging in goals. He said Maddison's not been in, but they've still been finding a way to win. Harvey Barnes, you know, he said James Justin, you know, Southampton's probably, I think Southampton's not allowed to play, but I'm sure whoever he steps back into the fence, it won't make a difference. They'll just find someone else. Like they found a way to win. They found a formula that players chop and change, and they still keep going.
Yeah,
you know,
it's kind of true though, isn't it?
And they consistently get results.
It's like that though, Jack, isn't it? You found the kind of right formula. There's no ifs or buts about it, and that probably stems back to. I know we say it every time we speak to you guys, but it stems back to your ownership, the way that you reinvest money, not just into the playing squad, but also into your structure, from the youth system, from your training ground setup, to how you repay the fans, to how you reward the fans. And everything connects and works, and it's like that big jigsaw that just pieces together and gives Leicester City that push. And I think all that together, Jack, does give Leicester City that push, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gives us that special ingredients, doesn't it? Our football club is ran perfectly. We couldn't ask for any more. The fans and the community at Leicester City has come together as one big family, and I think that's down to the ownership at Leicester. He's brought us closer than ever before, and he had a vision to make us a top 6 side, Vishai. The late Vishai Shriva had a papa, and he's done that. They sing Vishai had a dream to build a football team, and he's made a vision and a dream a reality at Leicester. And I guess selling the likes of Maguire for 85 million, Chilwell for 50. You know, we've galvanised on it well and brought in young talent like Fofana and Castagna and James Justin, and they've worked out superbly well.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, listen, before we move on a little bit further, let's take a look and see what happened the last time West Ham played Leicester in the Premier League. I mean, Matt, though, that Wolves and Leicester game in particular were the ones that were really like sending the fan base were just absolutely confused at what was going on with West Ham at that point, to be honest. And each week, Jack, as West Ham fans, you know, we start to get a little bit of belief, but we're so scared to have that belief that we're still in shock. And it's shown in recent games when we go 3-0 up against really good opposition and then panic and we're shell shocked and we don't really know what to do. However, a couple of questions for you, Jack. What's changed since that Leicester game? And considering that in recent weeks that Leicester have only just kept one clean sheet in the last 7 games, what's happening there?
I think Brendan Rodgers has galvanised the team. He's picked the boys up when they've needed it the most. He's gave them that boost and that confidence to go on and believe in their own abilities and play the way he wants them to play. And they've all connected together and they all believe in Brendan Rodgers' plan. And I guess our home form hasn't been great this season. We've not really picked up many points there, but our away form this season has been tremendous. We've got one of the best in the league. So,
yeah. And that's not really had a massive impact, though. Like, you know, with the lack of fans, etc. Do you think that has? Yeah, no, not at all. So, but when it comes to like I've mentioned there, with the last 7 games, 1 clean sheet, and then you're coming up against West Ham. I mean, I can't even believe I'm talking about stats like this, Matt. But West Ham have scored in 25 different Premier League games this season. You know, it's stat after stat for West Ham, where normally we could go several games without scoring goals, but we're finding goals on the park. I think, is it the stats for this season? Leicester have conceded 34, although you do score goals. You've got 53 this season. West Ham have, and the funny thing is, West Ham have conceded 37, and we scored 48. So, what is it that Brendan Rodgers will look at and take from the last game going into this game tomorrow?
He'll want revenge. Bittersweet revenge tomorrow. But no, he'll want to win the game. He'll obviously look at West Ham's weaknesses ahead of this one. He'll want to learn from the last time we met West Ham, them sort of mistakes, and make them positives instead of negatives. And I guess he'll look. West Ham are a very great side this season. David Moyes has galvanised the team, and they obviously are whole bunch of great lads at West Ham, and they're obviously believing in David Moyes and what he wants, and they're picking up the results when the so-called top 6 are not. So they're there on merit and very hard work, both Leicester and West Ham, and you can't replace that.
Yeah. Another interesting stat for you that you mentioned there was that you've got one of the best away records this season. You're actually the second best away record in the league. However, you're coming up against West Ham, who have the second best home record in the Premier League, and that's what makes this game potentially exciting. You've got 2 clubs vying for a Champions League spot. Mathematically, can still win the league if we really want to take it that far. But all jokes aside, it is, of course, the Champions League. And as mentioned earlier on, your big one of your big defenders is going to be out. I think he had a positive COVID test last week.
Yeah, Soyuncu, yeah. We obviously missed him last game against Manchester City, but Manchester City was always going to be a very difficult game to pick up points against. But obviously Leeds found Man City's weaknesses today and beat Man City at the Etihad. And so I guess it's just you got to take one game at a time in the Premier League. Don't get too confident and don't underestimate teams.
No, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Matt, you know, they've got quality players there in the ranks. I think, is it James Maddison? Does he make it back into the side this week? I think there's talks that he's going to be coming back in. Is that right, Jack?
Yeah, James Maddison, Ricardo Pereira, they'll also be coming back in this weekend if they'll obviously start if fit. So hopefully that'll give us a boost. And I guess against Manchester City last game, we didn't offer much width. So with Ricardo, he's obviously got some pace about him and he offers a lot out wide. So that's a boost for us. And Maddison, obviously, he likes to create as well. So that helps Vardy and Iheanacho out up front.
Of course, yeah. Matt, who do you really fear when it comes to Leicester and their style of play, etc., especially the game tomorrow?
He's a guy that sort of goes under the radar. He doesn't get as mentioned as much as he probably should, and that's Tielemans. He just dictates a midfield, and he started adding in goals. He's got the assists, but because you've got your Vardys and your Maddisons, he sort of sometimes goes under the radar. But that guy, if you let him have time and space, he will just pass you off the park and tear us to pieces.
Yeah, what do you think of that, Jack, then?
Do you know what? Yeah, you let Yuri have the ball and give him that much space. He knows where to pick out a pass. If you've seen the one against Arsenal at the Emirates, he just picked out under from nothing. And obviously, Iheanacho against Brighton, you give him them sort of room. It's like giving De Bruyne a room at Manchester City. They know how to pick out a pass, and they're very good at what they do. They just do it when they're least expected to do it. You know what I mean? And Yuri's been fantastic this season. He's adapted very well since joining back from the loan spell he had at Leicester, and he's living up to the £40 million price tag that we brought him for. So hopefully more to come from him. He's a very exciting player as well, playing obviously next to Wilfred Ndidi.
Yeah, of course. Listen, I mean, West Ham were linked to Fofana in your back line. He's a young, quality, big centre-half, isn't he? Is he stepping up to the occasion in the Premier League?
Do you know what? Yeah, coming from the Ligue 1 in France, obviously, it's a whole different league to the Premiership. The Premiership's one of the best leagues in the world, and you can't scratch that really. And I guess Fofana, no one heard of him, and I guess West Ham and Leicester wanted to take that chance on him. Obviously, Leicester beat West Ham to him, but he's lived up to expectations. He's like an older head on young shoulders, so you know what I mean? It's the experience that he's got, what you didn't think he would ever have coming into the Premier League on his first season. He's just shown quality and knows when to be there at the right times and knows how to defend. So he's having a great season so far for Fofana.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, let's have a look and see the lineup that you put out last time out. It was Man City. Obviously, you walked away. I think you got beat 2-0 in that game. But this is the lineup that Leicester had for that game. What changes, if at all any, do you expect to be made for the game tomorrow, Jack?
Perez will come out for Maddison. I also believe that Amati might come out for Ricardo. Apart from that, just them two changes for me.
What do you think of them, Matt?
Look, there's quality there. You've got two strikers with a handful. You've got width. That's the formation we sort of played at one point in the season. The three at the back with the width on the wings. It's going to be hard to contain. It looks like a flat three in midfield, but you'll probably find Ndidi drops a little bit deeper to sit in front of the back three, and then you've got, you said, if it's Maddison, you've got Maddison and Tielemans try and run ragged behind Iheanacho and Vardy. They've been up there and are up there for the last couple of years for a reason, because they've got goals across the park. Even someone like Perez, who's started to find his scoring boots again after a while out. So we're going to have to be on our game if we're going to get a result out of this, because they are Premier League winners in the last 5 years.
Jack, before we kind of ask you the final couple of questions, when it comes to West Ham, what do you as a Leicester fan think of the game tomorrow? Do you have a genuine form of fear? I don't mind. I know it's the West Ham channel. I genuinely want the raw emotional feeling related to how you feel coming into the game tomorrow and how you think Brendan Rodgers will set up. Is he going to say, this is their weaknesses, this is what you need to go, what you need to do, etc.?
I think Brendan tomorrow will look at West Ham's weaknesses. He'll obviously look at the previous games of West Ham and see where he can hit them, where it hurts. And I guess West Ham are a very good team this season. Like I say, they're dark horses and they're a top four place on hard work and merit, and I think West Ham are a very difficult side. If Antonio was playing tomorrow, he'd be a handful for the defence. Obviously, our weaknesses are from set pieces. As you've seen this season, we've conceded most of the goals from set pieces. I think tomorrow we'll be looking at the likes of Craig Dawson, Souček, and basically they'll want to hurt Leicester from set pieces. So I'm just worried about set pieces, really, from a West Ham perspective.
Yep. One question for you before I leave you on to the last one, which is, which West Ham player do you fear the most?
Antonio.
My bad. I should have told you there was going to be a little cheeky video there going. But just to remind you before you say what I thought. I think we should tell you, but Antonio's not going to be making the game tomorrow. So just in case I think I heard you say Antonio, but who is the player out with, knowing now the knowledge that Antonio's not going to be there, and of course Declan Rice won't be there. Yeah. Two of the big misses for West Ham. However, if you take into consideration last week. Antonio only lasted 30 minutes and Declan Rice didn't play. We still walked away victorious. But yeah, who do you fear the most then?
Jared Bowen or Jesse Lingard for me. I think they're two world-class players, and I think they're very great at what they have, and they've had very good season at West Ham. Obviously, Lingard has on loan in the games that he's played in. Bowen's been great ever since joining West Ham, so he's a right star, and hopefully you'll keep hold of him, and he'll just keep producing the goods.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. 2 last questions for you then, Jack. Who's the Leicester player that West Ham fans should fear? And finally, what is your predictions for the game tomorrow?
The Leicester player West Ham should fear Yuri Tielemans. Iheanacho's on form. He scored 7 goals in 5 games, so I'd go for Kel. Hopefully he'll bag one tomorrow, maybe 2, depending on how good West Ham are at defending tomorrow. But let's talk about the main man, Jamie Vardy. He's not scored, and West Ham is one of them teams who seem to concede to strikers who've not scored in so many games. So I'm going to go
Jamie Vardy. So well, Jack. You know it so bloody well.
I'm going to go Vardy because he hasn't scored, and he loves a goal against West Ham, as you've seen in the past in previous fixtures. So Vardy for me. Tomorrow's result, I'm going for a 2-1 Leicester away win and Kel and Vardy to score.
Listen, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show, mate. We've got someone in control in the chat, and he's. I think it's getting a bit lively in the chat as well, because we all know Jamie loves a good bit of bantering in there as well. So
Kufel's pocket.
Yeah.
Oh.
But listen, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure for you coming on. Pleasure. Jack, Jack's part of Leicester Fan TV. So if you're ever interested in going to look at some of their content, I know they had Russ from My Hammers 11, who we're good friends with, was on your channel, and I don't know if you managed to jump onto his little thing or not.
I did, on the lunchtime on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen, it's really cool, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll get a link in the description below, and all the best after tomorrow's game.
Good
Actually, no, all the best after the next 2 games. Because if West Ham beat Leicester and then win again, then I don't mind you going in form as long as we're above.
you wish.
All right, mate. Take it easy. Nice to speak to you, mate.
Take care, boys. Mate. Thanks for having me.
Mate. Thank you. Bye. Really cool, mate. Really, really cool to have another cool away guest on as well. Really, really nice. What's your thoughts then, Matt?
Look, as I said at the start, they're a club we should be aiming to get to, and Jack knows his stuff. He was actually, he was a fun bloke to have on. Yeah, he was honest. He was good, down to earth, good laugh. Yeah, he gave us good insight, but it's sort of hard because, as I said, they're a team that Brendan Rodgers has gotten playing. They play good football. They know how to win games.
Yeah,
I think you said at the start we was all stunned by the result last time. No one expected it 3-0, and even in that game, I think they scored an amazing goal to Slav offside. Some ridiculous one-touch passing move that just VAR ruled it out.
Yeah. It probably takes us to that time, mate, where we discuss, and let's get on to our beloved club, West Ham. Before we do, though, if you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you are with us but haven't subscribed, you have to log in to your YouTube account and then hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the bell notification, hit the like button, and, of course, leave a comment. Follow the description. Follow the video. It will tell you what to do. So between the 1994-95 season, 2014 and 15 season, Matt, West Ham won 7 of our 8 home Premier League matches against Leicester City. And they're winless in 5 at home since the losing 2-1 last season. Let's talk West Ham, Matt. What are you thinking? Shall we go into the press conference and see what the gaffer had to say, and then we can kind of go from there? Yeah?
Yeah.
Time to see what the gaffer said. I love the comments. It totally takes my mind off it. Absolutely mental. But anyway, the gaffer's been busy. David Moyes has been chatting to everybody. And here we go with the news. The worst kept secret around West Ham was we've had a couple of injuries, and I don't think Mick is going to make this game. But apart from that, I don't think we're too bad. What do you think of the news that Antonio is now going to be out, mate? Pretty long term, probably for the season.
Well, we know he is. I mean, he hasn't actually admitted it, has he? You know, he just said, "Oh, he's not going to make the game." But look, I mean, the rumours are it's about 6 weeks. So realistically, that is probably done for the season. I think we've only got about 9-10 weeks of the season actually left.
Yeah.
So 6 weeks and then a couple of weeks to get fit. Maybe he makes the last 3 games of the season. I say you can say devastating news, but it's not exactly unexpected. This is what seems to happen.
Yeah, of course.
You know, Mick gets back, he gets fit, he plays well for a few games, and he breaks down again. But we all knew this. That's why there was such an uproar in January when Hilaire went and we put no one in. Because every single West Ham fan was like, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, Moyes was like, I don't like the players on offer, I'm not bringing them in. Now he's got to try and find a way to make it work.
And to make matters worse, Declan Rice. I won't give you any more information on Declan Rice, to be honest. I'll just say he's got an injury, as everybody is aware, and we'll try and get him back as quick as we can. We don't want to put any time scale on it. I think we need to be careful what we see in social media, though, because we've seen a mixture of Declan Rice not wearing the boot, and he's in the gym training alongside some of the other players. That doesn't mean that he's fit, he's ready to go. It's positive, it's good, he's smiling. He's not really writing devastating news comments where you tend to get a lot of that if it's a bad injury. But we have to be mindful of the fact that yes, he is injured and he is one of our better players, but he didn't play the last game. We got through the last game, mate, and also Antonio only played 30 minutes, albeit he did look fascinating, unreal in the first 30 minutes. How do you think we'll cope without Declan Rice tomorrow, especially against the Leicester side?
I think he's just going to go the same way again. You know, I think he's going to try and pack out that midfield. Noble and Souček are probably both going to sit deep because, you know, we noticed that more in the Wolves game that Souček wasn't really going forward and Noble was sitting in front of the back four and they were both, or back three, they're both trying to keep back and protect.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go the same way. You know, there's not many options to change it in that middle of the park. He's not going to change. As we always say, he tends to try and stick with a winning team. So,
yeah. Well, let me go through the rest of what has been said because we'll come on to the team description in a minute. I was asked why I didn't sign a centre forward in January, and my answer is I chose to bring in Jesse Lingard instead. I don't know how close we are to keeping Jesse at the club next season, as we've not spoken about it. We're enjoying having him. He's been great around the place. We really enjoy having him, and I think he's enjoying his time as well. But we've not considered any more than that at this present time. What do you think on, you know, we're not going to sit here and talk about Jesse Lingard's future with West Ham, but mate, 8 games, 6 goals, 3 assists. I mean, I've got more stats for you on him, actually. If you just give me 2 seconds, I'll bring them up for you. Here we are. He's had 23 shots in total, 14 on target. He's had 5 block shots. He's had 16 fouls against, and he's got a 79% pass completion rate. Talk to me about Jesse Lingard, mate.
it's weird to think, because I say he's transformed our team. It's weird to think where we'd be if we'd had him since the start of the season. Would we be those 3-4 points in front of Leicester? Like, you think we were getting results at the start of the season, we didn't have that person that could carry the ball through the middle and unlock a defence.
Yeah.
And then we've brought him in and he's doing exactly that. You know, he's the guy that he's finding the pocket between the midfield and the defenders, picking up the ball, turning, driving, bringing the centre forward into play. But he's also scored. He's got contributed, like I said, a lot of goals, a lot of important goals as well. It'll go down as probably, I think I saw like a Sky Sports thing the other day, and it was like the top 10 best ever loan signings, and I think he was in the list for the impact that he's had over such a short period of time. The only downside is like you said, that every pretty much Man United are probably sitting there going, every time he scores another goal, it's like, oh, that's another 3 million on the price tag.
And we'll keep that, we'll keep that one under wraps, because I spoke about it in the week there about what a link from Rice and Lingard, and we were talking about how much would you pay for Lingard. We won't talk about it here, but get your comments in if you want to discuss what's the max that you would pay to bring Lingard to West Ham permanently. Of course, West Ham didn't have a clause in the contract to sign him with an option to buy after the loan. But let's have a look and see what David Moyes is saying. He's concerned about the fact that we have conceded goals after going into 3-0 leads in our last 2 games. I want us to score 5 or 6 goals instead of 3, but we have to say it's something we have to consider. We have an attacking them at the moment, and we're trying to keep scoring goals. We know what's at stake, and if the players keep winning 3-2, why would I tell them to do anything different? I think you do need to tell them to do something a little bit different, which is manage the 3-0, the fact that we're going 3-0 up and not get shell-shocked when it happens.
I don't understand that bit of his press conference, because what he's saying in the press and like the instructions he's given on the pitch look like 2 entirely different things. Like both games, it was quite evident that we went 3-0 up.
Yeah.
And Moyes was like, right, let's sit back, contain, let's not get stretched, let's not go open. And it was like, then all of a sudden we were just defending, and we were like, we were defending at 3-0 up, like we were frigging 3-0 down in a relegation battle, like we don't want to concede any more goals. Whereas he's saying, no, get 5 and 6. It's like, that's what we were saying in both the last games on the watch. We're like, let's keep going.
Yeah.
But maybe you need to tell the players that in like the half time and before the game, not on the press conference like a couple of days before.
Yeah. Thanks for all the comments, guys. We'll go through some of them. I think there was one there talking about when Lingard, I don't know who it was from, when Lingard signed for West Ham, were West Ham not 4th? Yes, we were, but we would have to have maintained it. And the fact that Jesse Lingard has impacted West Ham with all the numbers that I've just shown you there, and also just forgetting the numbers, how he's actually played for West Ham, being in those positions is really kind of, down to the pressing ability that Jesse Lingard has. I'm not so sure we'd be in the same position, to be honest, if we hadn't brought him in. That was from Gary from Graceland. It's no more important than winning at Wolves the other night, but it's the next game, and the next game is always the most important. We'll treat it in the same manner and hopefully get the same result. That's him obviously talking about coming off the back of the Wolves game, going into the Leicester game. But here we go. He's talking about the main man himself. It's great to be at one club and play 400 Premier League games, is some doing. To have that consistency is a great achievement. He's reached an awful lot of milestone at West Ham because of his loyalty and consistency as a player. We enjoy having him, and he's a great captain for us. Mark Noble will reach 400 Premier League appearances for West Ham United on Sunday if he plays, and it's great because, like I said, he's been at one club, played 400 Premier League games is some doing. That's me just repeating the part at the end. That's him playing him up, which means he is probably going to start.
Yeah, as we've said, the way he's spoken like that, it's not if he plays. That's when he plays. So,
but we need to take into consideration when Martin Noble started against Wolves, he actually was one of our better players. So are we worried about that tomorrow? There's a lot of chat again going on all over media, social media, players, people talking about bringing Diop up and bringing Connor Coventry on, etc. Maybe the thing about Connor Coventry is maybe Connor Coventry is actually not ready yet, and maybe Moyes doesn't believe he's ready yet, so he's not going to bring on a player like that.
Well,
but
he did make a comment today, didn't he, or was it yesterday, about Connor Coventry?
Yeah,
and he was like, he's not in the first team squad yet, and he's not in the first team planned yet. I haven't really looked at him. I'm not looking at bringing him forward. And it's like, well, when we're short in midfield, maybe he needs a look. But maybe he has a look. Maybe he thinks he's not ready. And he doesn't want to turn around and say, look, he's not ready.
Yeah. No, you're right, mate. You're totally right. Let's have a look and see. Oh, please say I downloaded it. Oh, well, I didn't download it. I'm going to download it just now. While I am downloading it, let's get your comments in and let me know who you would like to see in your starting 11 for the game tomorrow against Leicester. So close to getting this downloaded, mate. It's coming, it's there, it's nearly happening. I can only predict what Stell's writing in the chat. Trying to rip into me, but I'm not letting him do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the team that West Ham put out against Wolves last time out. And here it is. It's coming for you now. And we're going to try and go through the team and see what we think changes will be made. We know there's going to be an enforced change. So this is the team that West Ham put out against Wolves last time out. Let's start from the back, Matt. If we can get that comment off. There we go. Fabianski, of course, we're going to agree. Fabianski. This is where things get a little bit interesting because in the chat, there's a lot of people here talking about making changes to the defence. So let's discuss formation. We've seen the return of the king, the one and only Arthur Masuaku. Does he warrant a start for the game against Leicester?
I think he will start.
I also agree, mate. I think he will start. I think it will be
because I think he played 63. Was it 63 minutes he played last week?
Yeah,
and he played well. I think the reason he came off when he came off last week is that he was knackered because it was his first game in like 3-4 months.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, I think he will start again.
Yep. Cool. So what are we going to do then? Are we going to go with a 5, a 4? What do you think?
I think with Masuaku in, it will let him. He can do what he wants as and when.
Yep.
I think he can
so
start
we can
with a 4 with Masuaku sitting in front, and then if he thinks that Leicester playing their 5 at the back, and we're getting too overrun, then he can just tuck Masuaku back and Creswell across and make it a 5 at the back.
Yeah, he's also spoken about the fact that he's
flexibility to do it.
Yeah. He's also spoke about the fact that he's a bit annoyed at the fact that we've gone 3-0 and we've conceded goals. I can't really massively put that down to the defensive issues. I put that down to how West Ham set up once we go 3-0 up, which has invited problem after problem after problem. But with that news, mate, what do you think? Do you think we'll see any changes in the back line?
I don't think we have room for any changes, really.
I'd agree with you, mate. Yeah.
I'll be honest. I think if Ogbonna was fit, I think it would be. I think Ogbonna would go straight back in. But given that Ogbonna's still out,
yeah,
I can't see him bringing Balbuena in, to be honest.
No.
So
no. Yep. I mean, I know Stills put that in the comment there. But for me, I mean, I've seen people questioning Dawson. It just baffles me. It just literally baffles me how people can question so far what's been our probably most consistent centre half. Collectively, if you take into consideration, he's not been injured since he came into the club, and I think people have actually looked at a player like Dawson who scored 2 own goals and looked at the own goals as a negative, and that's not how you judge a player's performance in a game. I actually think Dawson is really the controlling defender there, and I'm delighted that he's signed on the dotted line for me. And I think the only concern people have got is with Diop and his ability to carry the ball. That's why I find it really mind-boggling when you think about a player like Diop moving forward into the midfielder position. Because I don't know if he's got that ability to be able to do that. So you're always going to need a calm and you're always going to need a calm defender alongside the likes of an Ogbonna or a Diop. No ifs or buts about it. And there was always chat about when Ogbonna comes back from injury. Dawson is better. No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm absolutely not, Duzzy O'Dear. I'm certainly not, mate. But what I'm suggesting to you is that that Dawson or Balbuena are the cam defenders in a back four line when you've got Diop and Ogbonna who step out all the time. And when you watch the games of when Dawson plays, he controls the back line. He is the controlling talking voice. He completely is. Of course he is. Not absolutely not taking anything away from Godbonna. I've changed my opinion dramatically on Godbonna on this season, but this season alone. But I think it's a no-brainer that Dawson will start alongside Diop. So we'll bring up the rest of the side there, mate. Yep, so you can see the chat. Everyone's just all over the shot when it comes to it. Sufaldo, he's been on form again recently. He's found his legs again. Yeah.
Maybe he just needed, I don't know, a bit of a rest. You know, he's been consistently playing. You know, was it the Leicester game that he came in? Was that his first game?
Yeah.
You know, and he's not really been out of the team since.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, no, you're right, mate.
He came in on like about 3 days training, went straight into the first team. We won the game, and he hasn't looked back. I think he's had a little bit off when maybe he's been injured, but even when he was injured or banned, or whatever, he's only been out for a game. And like you said, I don't know. Maybe he was just a bit tired, but yeah, he looks like he's getting back to his best again, back on form.
Of course. Yep. Let's progress further up the team then. Does Noble start and get his 400th Premier League appearance?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, I think he will.
Look, we've said this before many a time that David Moyes doesn't change a winning team unless he has to. So Noble played, he played well. We're at the point in the season where he's only got to play one game a week. He probably can play one game a week. I don't think for a second if Rice was fit he would start. Yeah. I think he also knows that if Rice and Souček are both fit he won't start.
Yeah, and I think he's been making comments this week about what his dad's been saying to him. He's definitely hinting at the role he's playing at the club, and he knows the role he's playing at the club. I don't think for 1 second he thinks that he would ever be taking over the position of Souček and Declan Rice. However, I don't know if we have another player who can play that role. And when I think of how he performed last week, a game a week, I definitely think Mark Noble is capable of doing that. And I think he's the player who's made for that position, and that's the one that's going to come in and do what's done for the last 8 games if it's needed. If we do need him for the 8 games, what do you think?
We're going to need him for some of it. I don't know how they still haven't even said officially how long Russ is going to be out. So
yeah, no, you're right, mate.
He's going to need to stand up and be counted.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty, mate. Let's get into the front 4. Well, we've talked about Masuaku starting, right? So we're really talking about the front 3. We know that Lingard will start. So let's talk about the other 2. Antonio is out, and does Fornals play the game? What do you do, mate? Get your comments in and let us know your thoughts.
I think the way he's been speaking, I think he's just going to bring Bowen in up front. Yeah. I think he's going to bring Bowen in for Antonio.
And leave Fornals.
And I think he'll leave Fornals and Lingard in.
Yeah.
I think they both played well last game. And I think also, we've said this before, that he does play people on merit, and he remembers previous games, and Fornals played really well the last time he played against Leicester, and that's probably on Moyes' mind as well, thinking I'll leave him in. It does mean again that Benny's going to be on the bench, but he might be our only attacking option off the bench. So we need to have something in reserve if things aren't going right.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Matt, Bowen up top with Fornals, Lingard, Masuaku, Souček, it's still tasty. It's still a bit tasty, is it not?
It's still a good team, and
yeah,
that team was still only 3 players short of our best team. It's unfortunate that it's arguably our 3 most key players. Say people say what they want about the defence, but it's not been the same since Bonner went out. Like, it's not. We before, whether it was Diop or Balbuena or Dawson alongside Bonner, the defence looked solid.
Yeah.
And Bonner's come out and we started conceding goals again.
Yeah.
Rice in the midfield, even after the ball went, even with Rice there, we were still shooting goals. But we know what Rice does, and now the rest of the world's waking up to what Rice does as well. So you can't replace him.
No.
And Antonio's the only centre forward we got.
Well,
and he's not even actually a centre forward.
Mate, is it Meepo time? I mean, the young lad scored a hat-trick against Manchester United. I mean, I don't for one second think he's going to start the game, but should he be named on the bench, especially after scoring that hat-trick against Manchester United midweek for the what do you think?
Look, I'd love to see him get game time, but Moyes just don't fancy him, does he?
I don't think he does, to be honest, mate. I agree with you. I don't think he does.
Previous games, like we had, who was it we had in the cup? Was it like Notts County?
Yeah.
And that was a prime time to just give him a run out. And he got like 3 minutes, was it 3 or 4 minutes at the end of the game?
Yeah.
And then he probably killed his confidence. We had the cup game against Man United, and he brought him on after 30, 40 minutes and took him off again like an hour later when there's still half hour of the game left. I'd love to see him have a go out. You said he's in confidence, he's scoring goals again, but
I think what would be good for a player like, I was going to say for Odebiku, and I think, to be honest, like you said, mate, if it's going to be Benrahma as our only potentially attacking option, I think we're going to need that option of a striker on the bench. And if Meepo is, I mean, the way I can't help but think is, if you've come off the back of scoring a hat-trick, but also scoring goals regular, you found your Vavavoom again, then play the player, or sorry, put him on the bench, give him the squad, travel with the squad, give him what it's like to step up to be within the first team. And that's when you'll start to really test and see if can he carry himself well with the team. And if something's struggling in the game, you need a target man. Fire Meepo on. The problem is, I don't really know if he is a target man, to be honest. He's more of a hard-working striker, isn't he? And that's exactly what we think Moyes wants. However, I'm not 100% sure from what I've saw from Meepo, which is a short amount of time, if he is going to fit into the mould of what Moyes wants.
No, from the bits we've seen of him, he doesn't look like he's. I know he's only young, but he doesn't look like he's bulked up enough. Like,
yeah,
if you think about players that Moyes has turned into good centre forwards, it was Arnautovic and Antonio,
and
they were both guys that were big, strong, tough, but mobile and would run and run and run. And Meepo doesn't look like he is. I mean, he'll run, but he's not going to compete. He's not big and bulky. So Moyes probably looks at him and goes, "Well, he's not going to do it." I mean, you could argue though that neither were Bowen. So you can argue at the moment with Antonio out that none of our other players that could play in that false number 9 that we're going to end up playing now, would be in the same shape. So, but look, I don't know. Maybe Moyes just doesn't want to risk it now. Maybe Moyes has gone the other way and thinking, we're actually in the business end of the season now, and we're still there or thereabouts. He doesn't want to risk. I could chuck in Connor Coventry and chuck in Meepo and 2 academy kids, and then he might have to make double sub after half an hour, and it could be 3-0 down. The game's ruined, and he's like, "Oh well, I've thrown away a chance at Europe." On untested players. If we weren't in a top 4 battle, then he might give them a go. If we were just sitting like 10th.
Yeah. Because I think, there's lots of comments in here talking about the difference between playing Benrahma up top or Bowen up top, but I do think he's going to go with Bowen, and I think that, the social media team are pushing Bowen as well. He's found form again. He's scoring a couple of goals, and that's what you want from those sort of players, and he makes those runs. He absolutely makes those runs that Lingard will want, and you've got to think of the Lingard Bowen. He's fast, he's pacey. Lingard is, as is Bowen. They can both get forward. Fornals is the glue that pieces everyone together, etc. But when we talk about our team, then what we're going for is Fabianski at the back. We're going with a back 4 with the option to go to a 5 if needed, and that will be Diop, Dawson, Soufal on the right, Creswell on the left. We're going to have Noble Souček sitting in there protecting with a Masuaku. We're going with a Lingard. We're going with a Fornals, and then we're going with Bowen up top. But then we'll have fluctuation to change. bringing Masuaku back to a back five if needed, and dropping Bowen back into the midfield and playing the false nine. And I do think, though, Matt, I think we watched the game, was it the Villa game, where we didn't know who was playing up front at one point, to be honest. It was Lingard, then it was Bowen, then it was Fornals or whatever. And I think that's definitely the option. And that's potentially what's going to hopefully get at Leicester. But when it comes to Leicester City, mate, we've got to take the game to them tomorrow because they've got creativity, they've got the ability to score, they've got pace in the back line. I was reading some stats this week, funny enough, and I was actually trying to get stats for Declan Rice, and when I've done a video on Declan Rice the other day, I was trying to get some stats, and I was trying to see how many top 10s he was in the Premier League. Was he in the top 10 for clearances? Was he in the top 10 for headed clearances? All that sort of stuff. Who's the one defender that appeared in the top 10 more than any other player at West Ham? Diop. I was baffled,
Really?
mate. Yeah. Headed clearances. I think he's up there. He's in like the top 10 for headed clearances. All that sort of stuff. I just brought that random stat to you. What I want to talk to you about is the threat of Vardy and Iheanacho. Vardy hasn't scored, but we all know what he's capable of doing. He's got pace. He can get in behind the defence. We know Iheanacho, he's firing on all cylinders just now. How do West Ham keep that threat out?
It's going to be a hard one because you know full well. Look, the thing is with centre forwards, when you play two up front, they don't it's not like in the midfield or defence where you have a rugged formation. You don't have to sit. So, chances are Iheanacho is going to play down the middle, and Vardy's just going to drift. And he's going to try and make them clever runs in behind, or he's going to come short. Iheanacho will be a focal point, and then Vardy will play off him. And you know full well that Vardy's going to pull off. And if we're playing four at the back, he's going to pinpoint Creswell, and he's going to pinpoint Dawson.
Yeah.
And Vardy's going to go, even though I'm 33 going on 34, I've still got that bit of acceleration and the pace. And I'm going to play off their shoulder and try and get in behind. Iheanacho is more a guy that's more technical than quick. But then you've got people like Tielemans trying to pick him out. If we did go with a four at the back, trying to square up man mark two centre forwards against two centre backs, we could be in trouble from like a Maddison or a Tielemans or a Perez, someone trying to run on beyond the two centre forwards.
Yeah.
So I think possibly just for the sake that they do, because most teams can afford to play two at the back now in the Premier League, because most teams only play one up front. So you play two centre backs, so one can commit to the tackle and one can drop off. If we're playing Leicester who play two up front, for me, you're going to have to try and play three at the back just to try and contain and man mark the two centre forwards. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. While you were just talking there, I was looking at the stats that I was trying to talk to you about, so I could just back up slightly about what Issa Diop is. He's the top West Ham player for blocks this season. I was just trying to see interceptions. I was just trying to get some further stats for everyone in the chat, just to see if I could randomly back it up. There was the headed clearances as well, I think it was. Let me see, here it is here, headed clearances. Oh, it's actually, no, excuse that. That's me just talking a little bit of rubbish, mate. Listen, if you're new here, lots of you are in. There's a lot of people in the chat as well. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like, thumbs up, and leave a comment. Let's get on to the exciting time, mate. Let's get on to the time where we predict what the score will be for tomorrow. Get your predictions in, and myself and Matt will give you our predictions. Come on then, Matt. The game is tomorrow. Was it 2:15 kickoff or something? I don't even know what the time the kickoff.
It's a weird.
It's a really weird time kickoff, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get it up.
So go for it, mate. What do you?
2:05.
2:05. Which means we will be live at what? 12:50, 12:45, 12:50 for our match day live. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for a match day live, where we'll be bringing you exclusive team news, and we will be 12:45. There you go, exclusive team news, and we'll be doing a watch along as well, followed by a review after the game. Matt, come on, predictions, mate.
Well, but based on the way we've been playing recently, I'm going to go for a 3-3.
Oh, mate, goals, goals, goals. Holy monkey, oh, man.
And I go 3
Right,
3-0 up, 3-1 at half time, 3-3.
right. Okay. You're going to go for 3-0 up at half time. Again. Don't, mate.
Yeah.
Don't. I am going to go for a 2-1 West Ham victory, thanks to the false nine playing its part tomorrow and nullifying the threat of Jamie Vardy and Iniacho. Let's go through the comments and see what everyone else is saying. Harvester saying 4-2 to Leicester. Does your dear is saying 2-1. Boo. I don't know if that's 2-1 to West Ham or 2-1. I think I've seen it in the other way, so I think he's been in Leicester. Edward Wise is saying 2-1. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. Ian Smith is saying 2-1. Toby Sampson is saying 2-1 West Ham. Vegeta DZ is saying 2-1. Reese is saying I'm going to do a false prediction for him and he's not here. 1-0 Leicester. Raymond Deeble, 1 each. God, the comments have just come flying in. West Ham 4-2 for Mark Rashford. Lord Lingard and LB 2-all. Desmond, same pattern, take a lead and hang on, but a draw. Top work again, boys. Words and pictures. Thank you, Matt. Anton Still. Thank you, WMP, mate. 4-3 to West Ham. I've scored 4 goals in the first 7 Words and pictures saying 3-2 win for West Ham. 1-0 from James Bong to West Ham's Claret and Blues. Vinay, lots of Leicester fans in here. Asni Patel saying 4-2 to Leicester. Gita is saying Benrahma first goal tomorrow. Harvester 145. You're predicting just the Foxes. Ben Jones 3-1 West Ham. God, so many comments. It's tough. 3-1 West Ham. Gary Graceland 3-1 West Ham. Hornswoggle 3-1 to West Ham. 2-0 West Ham from Tom Morris. Seisman Garner 2-all draw. Desmond 9-0 West Ham. Reese, cheers for that, mate. Stel's predicting 2-1 West Ham. Bowen winner. Matt, what Leicester player do you fear the most?
I spoke about Tielemans earlier, but then there is just the old adage of Jamie Vardy.
Yeah.
Who just loves to go against West Ham.
Yeah.
He's one of them guys you love to hate because he's one of the ones that he loves the banter, doesn't he? He loves getting riling fans up. So in some ways, maybe good because there's no fans there for him to play off of. But
yeah,
you know, he's a guy that loves winding up the opposition fans and playing off them. And but he loves to go against West Ham, doesn't he? He always finds a way to score against West Ham.
He does, mate, and I think this is going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be a really strong midfield battle, to be honest. And I think this is where we're really going to need to see Thomas Souček step up to the plate in terms of potentially covering what he's been used to having beside him in terms of Declan Rice. Hoping that Mark Noble has to step up, but when you've got players like James Maddison coming back into the team, we all know what he is capable of doing going forward, his creativity and his ability to get forward. But I think what Leicester are going to fear coming from West Ham is the man himself, Jesse Lingard. And, you know, West Ham took the game to Leicester last time out and came away 3-0 victorious in the last game. But now we have the added threat of Jesse Lingard in there, and he brings positivity when he plays in and around that forward line. And that's something that's going to be massively interesting. Who should Leicester fear, Matt?
Let's go for that man again. You know, he's played himself as the West Ham's main man at the moment. It's Jesse Lingard.
Yeah, he has, mate, isn't he?
He's literally, you know, come in off the back of a lot of fans not wanting him, to be honest. Myself included, thinking, and to be fair, he hit the ground absolutely running. And he's, you know, he's been unlucky not to pick up the Player of the Month 2 months running. You know, he's been nominated both times, like you said, all the goals and assists. If they're going to stop us winning, then they're going to have to try and find a way to mark Lingard out of the game. Yeah,
that is definitely going to be the key for it now. What I'm actually going to do is bring up the league table for everyone to see, which they've probably not saw for a little while, before we go for the rest of this evening. Here it is now. There you go. This is what the current league looks like. As you can see, it mathematically is still possible that West Ham and Leicester, of course, can win the league. But West Ham currently sitting down in 6th place on 52 points, sharing it with Liverpool. Just grab that comment off and pull it away. And then you've got Chelsea above West Ham on 54 points and Leicester sitting there with 56 points. A West Ham victory tomorrow would catapult us back up into fourth place, 1 point from third place, Leicester City. And Matt, you're predicting that West Ham can walk away with that victory tomorrow and get it done, mate. Listen, if you are watching us, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe button, please do it. It's really cool that you're here watching all of our content. What's the plans for the coming days? Tomorrow, Matchday Live. Join us at 12:45. We're bringing you exclusive team news. We'll be doing our watch along, and then we'll give you the review straight after the game. That is followed by, I believe, if you're in the chat, let us know. Are you going to move your weekly to a Monday? I'm not sure if you are, but just let everyone know so we can promote it while everyone's on Monday. So it's officially happening. Stell is moving his West Ham Weekly to a Monday, so it would leave tomorrow evening free. If that is going to be the case, we may look at maybe rejigging some of the shows around what that's happening. So make sure you do join us, and of course we'll be bringing you the West Ham Daily content all next week. Anyway, Matt, that's the end of the preview. Been good. Thank you very much for everyone for watching. Matt, any last words you want to say?
Can we not go up 3-0 after half an hour and then concede a goal right on half time again? And then sit there panicking for 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Can we just have like an easy game or like just like a 2-0? Just one goal in the first half, one in the second, and no drama.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, as long as we stick by the team, we'll shout from our homes wherever we're watching the game tomorrow, and hopefully next season we can get back into it. I mean, I've had my vaccine, Matt, so fingers crossed I'm one step forward into hopefully getting back into that London Stadium, and touch wood we can get there as soon as possible. Anyway, from Anton and Matt, this is West Ham United. Subscribe, like, and comment, and come on, you Irons.